Hey everybody, I'm excited to be practicing with you today here in my makeshift home yoga studio right next to my makeshift office. For today's practice, you would like to have a block. If you don't have a yoga block, that's no big deal. You can actually just use a book. In fact, this is what I'm going to use. This is a book that was given to me by Mrs. Dufour, and it's coming quite handy during all of the social distancing and self-isolation, lots of family games. So I'm just going to use the book. And you might want a blanket for Shavasana later on. So yeah, just hop into something comfy and we will get started. Okay, so we're going to begin by sitting comfortably on our mats, cross-legged. Sukhasana is what it's also known as. And bringing your hands to rest gently on your thighs. You can have your palms down if you are feeling like you need to be a bit grounded. And let's face it, in these bizarre times, we could probably all use a little bit of grounding. Or maybe you're looking for a little bit of creativity and openness, in which case palms up often helps. And we are going to gently close the eyes and deepen the breath. So all together, let's take a big inhale through the nose and exhale. Continue to breathe deeply in through the nose and out through the mouth with your eyes closed. We often like to start yoga in this way, just to spend a few minutes connecting with our breath, letting go of the day thus far, checking in with how we feel mentally, how we feel physically, emotionally. And today I think it's important for us to remember that we are not alone. Whether you're practicing this at 3:30 with many other KES folks, or even if you're practicing, in a different country, in a different time zone, know that you're not alone. Somebody out there is doing a yoga video, and this is something that one of my favorite online yoga instructors says a lot. Her name's Adrienne. If you want to check out her channel, Yoga with Adrienne, it's fabulous. So little inspiration from her to remember that you're not alone in this. All right, batting the eyes open. Let's take a big inhale up and exhale. Pull the hands together. Lower the hands to heart center. Big inhale up again. Bring your left hand to the mat and just warming up. So gently bending over to the side. Getting a nice stretch up through the side body. And you can always just find kind of what feels good. Another Yoga with Adrienne. And back to center, other side. Inhaling and exhaling. Pushing fingers into the mat. Trying to swivel the heart open, staying nice and open, and feeling the stretch all through that side body. Excellent. And back to center. All right, we're going to roll onto our hands and knees. And it's really important to make sure that our wrists are right underneath our shoulders. All 10 fingers pushing into the mat. Our back is nice and straight, and our knees are right underneath our hip points. Tops of the feet are pushing into the mat. We're going to do a couple of rounds of cat-cow here. So inhale, dip the belly, look up. Or some cow, and exhale, round the back. Look between the arms and opening up through the back body for cat. And here we go with our own breath. Inhale, look up. Exhale, round the spine. Inhale, up. And round through the spine. And back to a neutral spine. And I kind of like to just bump my hips from side to side here, looking over my right shoulder and then looking over my left, just to loosen things up before we get going. Got a little gentle flow for you today, but as always, take things at your own pace. So, if you're craving a couple of body rolls here, by all means, if you feel like you need a few more cat-cows, do that. Just check in with how you're feeling. Take a few seconds to sort of see if there are any kinks in the body that need to be worked out. All right, we're going to tuck our back toes, walk our hands maybe one hand distance forward, and we're going to move up into our first down dog, but let's do it gently. All right, so let's raise our hips up to where the wall behind you meets the ceiling. So we're really focusing on a nice long open back and not so much in the legs. If you're still tight, maybe you haven't been up and walking around much today, you may want to pedal out your legs. So bending one knee, then the other. We call this walking the dog. And I live in a tight back body, so you see me walking my dog a lot. And connecting with the breath. Gaze is between the knees, and when you feel like you can come to stillness for a few breaths, go ahead and do that. Your heels are pushing towards the mat, but it's really more important to have a nice straight spine. So if you need a little bend in those knees still, or if your heels are high up off the mat like mine, that's no problem. Big inhale, and on the exhale, walk your feet towards your hands. And again, knees are bent generously. There's no need to rush. We have nowhere to go, literally, but right here on this mat. And maybe you want to clasp your elbows with your hands and maybe start to straighten a little bit up through the back of the legs, but there's, again, no rush. Here's a great time to sort of sway, find a little sway from side to side. Perhaps nodding your head yes, shaking it no. And your feet here can be big toes together, or if you're challenged with your balance, you might want to have your feet hip distance apart, no right or wrong. Inhale, filling up the back body. Exhale, and begin to slowly, slower than you actually want to, rise up one vertebrae at a time. Shoulders, and then finally your neck. And a couple of shoulder rolls here. Inhaling and exhaling, always connecting with your breath. And at the top of your mat, you're going to come to mountain pose. So again, with mountain, you can have your feet shoulder width apart or big toes together and heels about an inch apart. If balance is something that you kind of want to play with a little more. You're going to inhale, reach up. Exhale, dive forward, keeping those knees bent generously. And here we're going to straighten the knees, slide the hands up for flat back, and those hands are going to land either on your thighs or perhaps on your shins, just not pushing into your knees. Looking straight down. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Just a few more sun breaths to really connect. Inhale. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up. Hands to heart center. One more sun breath. Filling up those lungs. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, folding forward. And inhale all the way up. We're going to build on that with a sun salutation A, which I know you've been practicing the last couple weeks with Miss P, so should be maybe a little bit familiar. We're going to take the first one kind of slow, and then we'll build up some heat, but always take it at your own pace. If you like the look of that first one, nice and gentle, make all of them that way. Or if you're more advanced, more experienced, you've done maybe one of our advanced sessions, then by all means you can start jumping into chaturanga if you know what you're doing. Okay. So big toes to touch, our nice strong mountain, and always with mountain, lifting through those kneecaps, wide shoulders, big inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift to flat back. Exhale, this time you're going to plant the hands, step back with the left, step back with the right. You are in plank. Inhale, you're going to lower your knees and bending your elbows back towards your ribs, you're going to lower all the way to the floor. And here we are, toes are pressing into the mat, hands are pressing into the mat, they're right underneath your shoulders. Inhale, gently look up, just a gentle baby cobra to start getting that back released. And exhale. Tuck the toes, pushing up Notice I'm keeping my knees down for now. And then pop into our plank, push back, down dog. And again, still warming up, so you can keep that bend in your knees. It's more important to keep the spine nice and long, open through the shoulders. Couple of breaths here. On the next exhale, lift your right leg up, step between the hands, and bring the left up to meet it. In that forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, all the way up. Hands to heart center. Inhale, forward fold. Exhale, flat back. And we're gonna step back with the right and step back with the left, or if you want to build a bit more heat, you can jump back into that plank. And again, feel free to lower your knees and then all the way to the belly, or you can start to play with lowering through chaturanga and pushing up to up dog. With up dog, just the backs of my feet, the shoelace sides of my feet are on the mat. I'm not dumping into my shoulders, staying nice and strong. Using the core, I'm going to push back, roll over my toes into down dog. If you went all the way down to baby cobra, you can push up to plank, using your knees if you want, and then meet us here in down dog. Deep inhales through the nose and fully exhaling, emptying out. After you've exhaled fully, you're going to step, hop, or jump to the front of your mat. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Come all the way up. And hands come to heart center. One more like that, build a little heat, or take it slow. You do you today. All right, here we go. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, forward fold, stepping or hopping, and then lowering through chaturanga, up dog, or go all the way down, and baby cobra, always an option. Exhale, push through into down dog. Take 2 big breaths here. On the next exhale, bend your knees, look between your hands, and again, step, hop, or jump to the front of your mat. Inhale to a flat back, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Now with our hands up above us, we're going to sit back into a chair. So again, you can have your feet can be shoulder width apart, as you can see, and this is better for anybody that's maybe feeling a bit wobbly today, or if you just feel like it, or if you want to challenge your balance a bit more. Big toes together, heels about an inch apart. And we're going to tighten through the core and sit back, raising our hands above us. Now I'm going to turn to the side so you can see. And we don't want a lot of booty popping here, so maintain a nice flat back, and you're sitting back as if you're going to sit into a chair. And we really want to make sure that our knees are not extending too far above our toes. It's really bad for our knees, especially in the long run. So let's keep our knees back as far as we can. And even if it means we don't come as low, that's fine. You do you today, and always. And reaching out, and if that's not accessible to you, you can just keep your hands on your hips. Whatever works for you today. And see if we can go a little bit lower. I'm going to walk up to the front of my mat. You guys stay where you are. Okay, now we're going to transfer our energy into our left foot. Bring the right foot up. We're going to trust that that mat is behind us, and we're going to step back into a high lunge. So in our high lunge, like before, we want the knee right over that ankle. All right, and we're up on the back. Our balls of our foot pushing into the mat, and we're going to inhale. Here we go, hands up. See if we can sink a little deeper. Energy coming out of the crown. And our shoulders are down, okay? So they're not hunched up around our ears. Bring them down. Likewise, we don't have a big wrinkle in our brow. Try to soften through the face. Now, hands are going to come together. And we're going to hook our right elbow over onto our left knee. Just a gentle twist here. Twisting out any doubts that we might have. And this is also probably firing up your legs. And you may be messing up with your balance. But that's okay. If I fall, it gives you permission to fall. Okay, one more breath here. And we're coming back. And we're going to swivel on that back foot. So we're going to let that foot come so that it is on maybe a 45-degree angle. And we're still going to bend into that front knee. We're going to open up warrior two. So notice how my stomach, my hips are facing towards the screen. So I'm not twisting towards the front of my mat, but rather towards the side. Arms are coming out parallel, and you're looking over that front finger. See if we can go a little deeper. You really might be feeling that in the quad right now. That's good. It's kind of good. All right, flip the front hand, back hand reaches. We're gonna dance this a little bit. You might be tempted to come out. Try not to. See if you can bend and really get the energy flowing in the body. And we're gonna cartwheel our hands back, step back into a plank. Now, you can feel free to go right to down dog, or maybe you want to take a vinyasa. So you can always lower all the way down and into a baby cobra, or do the chaturanga move, whatever calls to you today. We'll all meet in down dog. And 3 big breaths here. Feeling free to exhale through the mouth. Let some of that energy go. Gaze between the knees. We got this. Okay, on the next exhale, bend your knees, look between the hands, and step or hop or even just walk your way to the top of your mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, all the way up, hands to heart center. So what we do with one side, we have to do with the other. So arms up again, and sit back into that chair. Okay, remember, tucking through the pelvis, knees not extending too far, shoulders reaching out, lots of energy coming out of those fingertips, but our shoulder blades are back. Inhale, fully exhale. Transferring our energy now into our right foot. You're gonna lift up your left foot, and you're gonna step back up to 3 feet. Trusting, trusting, trusting. If you lose your balance, if you wobble, it's okay. You'll get back up. And inhaling. Oh boy, here come my dogs. I don't know who let them down. This is so professional. All right, so inhale, a little bit lower. See how we do here. Shoulder blades are going down. And hands come together. We're going to try to loop our left elbow over our right knee. Gentle twist. Maybe looking up towards the ceiling if your balance is really craving a little bit of extra challenge. And of course, if this just isn't working for you, you can always just stay up in that lunge. Here we go. One more breath. And hi, we're unraveling, coming back up, swiveling on the back foot so that our foot is on a 45-degree angle, bending into the front knee again, knee always over that ankle. We're going to open up warrior two. And bending into our front knee, looking over our middle finger, staring off into that distance. You got this. Flip the right hand and let the left slide down, reaching up, revolve warrior, and bending a little into that knee. Always wants to come up when we move. Feeling a wonderful stretch through the side body. And cartwheeling. We're going to step back to that high plank once again. And option for a vinyasa. If you're going for the vinyasa, come forward on your toes, lower halfway, scooping through to up dog. Oh my God, I'm getting kissed from a dog. Okay. Thanks, guys. Love you. Inhale, roll over the toes. Use the core to push back into down dog. Few breaths. Reset in through the nose. And fully exhale. One more breath in. Anytime we're hanging out here in down dog, if you're exhausted, if your shoulders just not enjoying it, if you're just feeling like, oh, I didn't want this much work, you can always push into child's pose. I probably should have told you that earlier, but know that for the future. All right. Big inhale, bend the knees, look between the hands, and on your exhale, you're going to step, hop, or jump to the front of your mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up. Hands to heart center. All right, I'm just going to step this way so you can see me a little better. And we're going to just do a couple of balance poses here. And maybe we'll go with our simple starting with the tree. So starting from a strong mountain pose, so again, you're trying to lift those kneecaps, engage the quads, and think of ourselves as nice and wide. And I always love that metaphor that you hear in so many classes of like a puppet string coming from the crown of your neck, holding you up as tall as you possibly could be. Okay, transferring energy into your left foot. You're going to bring your right foot out into the side. Now, you can stay here. This is still going to challenge your balance. But if you've been practicing this for a while, or you just want to take it a little further, you can bring your foot to the inside of your calf. Great spot to be. If you want even more still, you can bring your foot to the inside of your inner thigh. It's going to challenge it more, as you can see. You can even use your hand to get it to a place where you can get that push and pull going. Just don't push your foot into your knee, okay? So above the knee or below the knee. And once you find some stabilization, it helps to engage the core. It helps to find a spot that's not moving that you can focus your attention on. You can bring your hands to heart center. And if you want even more challenge, maybe you want to bring your hands above your head. You can take a steeple grip here if you want, basically interlaced with your big fingers up. Or, maybe you want to do cactus arms. Or maybe you just want your arms up. I mean, you're a tree, so you can be any kind of tree that you want to be. Some people like to do, I'll turn around so you can see it. You can get a little bit more through the shoulder and the chest by taking your hands behind and namaste arms behind your back. Do whatever feels good to you in this moment. Wherever your hands are, if they're swaying, just remember trees sway too, and whatever doesn't bend breaks. So, okay. All right, and wherever you are, you're gonna bring your hands back to prayer. Take your foot out in front, bring it down, and shake them both out. Okay, let's do the same on the other side. Always starting from mountain. Always starting from mountain. Big inhale, exhale, shoulders back and down. Lifting the kneecaps, thinking of that string coming from the crown, and bring your energy into your right foot. Left comes out to the side, and you can just have your heel resting on right above the ankle. This is beautiful. You can even close your eyes here to get a bit more balance work. Or you can have it right here on your calf, and staying here is wonderful. Or you can bring your foot to the inner thigh. And if you find that it helps more, you can use your hand to get it in that perfect spot where it just feels like it's meant to be. Okay. And again, find a spot that's not moving. So I'm not going to look at my dogs, which is almost impossible because they're all over me right now. I'm going to find a spot that's not moving and focus my attention there. And grow your arms into whatever tree pose arms you would like today. Whatever is calling to you. And try to find some stillness there. Connecting with the breath. Noticing if you're wobbling a bit and just being okay with that. It just means the little tiny muscles in your ankles are working. And all those little muscles need. One more breath. And then find your hands at heart center. Bring your knee out in front, down, and shake it. All right. It's a little stretch and balance work going on here. We'll stretch our shoulders a bit, stretch our hips, glutes. We'll do the whole thing. Again, starting from mountain, we're going to transfer the energy into our right foot. You're going to take your knee out and grab right underneath the knee on the calf with your interlaced fingers, nice and tall and straight. Then cross it over so you make that nice figure 4 shape, pressing your ankle into your thigh, your quad. And hands to heart center. Now, you can stay here, or if it's available to you, you're going to cross that leg all the way over and possibly even hook it around the calf of the standing leg. Reaching out nice and wide. You're going to bring your left hand in front. Right is going to reach around for eagle arms. And again, if you're just here, that's cool. Any place is cool. Maybe you can bring the shoulders, the elbows up a little bit. Again, it's okay if you fall out of it. You can come back in at any point in time. And bending the standing leg, maybe you can go into a bit of a chair pose from here. Again, a bit more advanced. So do what works. Stay where you want to be. We're going to come out of it all together by standing up, unlacing our arms, bringing the knee in front, down, and then shake it out. All right, what we do on one side, we got to do on the other. So big toes together, starting from that mountain part, spot every time. Bring the energy into the left foot and catching the right leg on the calf with the interlaced hands. Nice and tall still. You can stay here if you want. This is good. This is working. If you want to try bringing the leg over, you can have a bit more of an advanced tree pose, or maybe you're going to cross it all the way over. Here you go, you've got crossed legs. Maybe you hook it all the way around. Eagle legs. Bring your arms out. Right hand comes in front. Left wraps around for eagle arms. Can you bring your elbows up a little? Don't forget not to wrinkle the brow, so try and soften through the face. Okay, now there's somebody at the door. Okay, and bending, maybe you're going to try to sit back into a chair pose. Maybe one of many, many Amazon deliveries. Hopefully somebody else will get that. Okay, coming out of the pose, like as suavely as you got in, not the way I just did. Bring your feet down and shake it out. All right, coming back to the top of our mat. We're going to inhale up, exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to a plank. Now, if you're just still working on your core strength, no shame in lowering your knees to the ground, okay? But if you're wanting a little bit more, full plank mode. Now, we are going to rock forward a little bit on our toes, working our arms a bit. We're going to lower halfway and then push back up. Half of a push up. Tricep push up. Two more. I'm going down to my knees for these ones. Last one. Now push back to down dog, or maybe you're feeling like you need a bit of a break. Child's pose, there's no shame in that game. You've got 3 breaths in whichever one you're in. We're all going to meet in down dog. So after your next exhale, push into down dog. And we're going to transfer the energy into our left foot. So the left foot's going to push into the mat. Both hands pushing evenly into the mat. Inhale, lift your right leg up into the air. Hips are parallel with the mat, so we're not opening right now. Parallel. Toes dial down. Inhale, rounding into that cat back. We're going to bring our knee towards our nose. Inhale, back up. Inhale, coming forward into a plank. We're going to bring our knee to our outside elbow. Inhale, back up. Exhale. Inhale once more. Exhale, bring the knee to the opposite elbow. Inhale, back up. And exhale. Bring the knee to the nose again. Now, if you're just working on your core, feel free to lower that knee now. And we're going to come into a side plank. If you're craving a bit more, kick the foot out and come into a side plank for a tripod. Maybe your gaze comes to your outstretched hand. Careful not to dump into your shoulder. Nice strong shoulder. Core is engaged. And coming back through, push back down dog. Again, we've got 2 breaths, so if you want to push into child's pose for those breaths, by all means do so. All right, wherever you are, let's meet in down dog. We have one more side to do. So inhale, left leg comes up into the air. Exhale, rounding through the back, knee to nose. Inhale, back up. Exhale, knee to outside elbow. Inhale, back up. Exhale, cross the body, opposite elbow. Inhale, back up, rounding through to the nose. Feel free to put it down and come into a tripod this way, or if you're craving a bit more, kick through and tripod with a bit more work in the shoulder. Maybe your gaze comes up towards your outstretched hand. Lots of work through the core, shoulder, everything. And back down. Push back to our very last down dog. 2 breaths here. Maybe now that you're a bit more warmed up, your heels will go a little closer towards the mat. 1 more breath. And exhale, push back into child's pose. Knees can be as wide as the mat, or they can be close together in the more traditional child's pose. Big inhale, fully exhale. Filling up the back body. Maybe you want to bring your hands towards the back, grabbing onto your feet. Or just letting them rest. Those shoulders have worked a lot. In the next exhale, we're coming up and bringing my legs out to the side and out in front. Not quite finished with the core just yet. We like to say move the fleshy part away. We all have that fleshy part there, so that you can feel your 6 bones, the bones at the base of your spine, the part that's like connecting with the mat. You want to feel them connecting into the mat. We're just going to work our core a little bit more. So engaging the core, you're going to lean back so you can kind of feel it fire up. Now here, I can still feel my core, so feel free to stay here. If you want a bit more, you can bring your calves parallel with the mat. I'm still holding on to the backs of my thighs. And again, I have a straight spine, and you want to not tuck the chin or look up. You often hear think of an orange or an apple, or maybe even just a fist distance between your chin and your chest. Or if this is still like, yeah, I feel like I could use a bit more, bring your arms out, boat pose. So this is like high boat. We can stay here, big inhale. Or if you want a bit more, on the exhale, we'll go to low boat. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. One more. Now either stay here or on the exhale, maybe you want to hold. Really feel the shaking, the core coming alive. And back to center. Now here's where you need that book or block or whatever you happen to have. You can even use your blanket if you want. You just need an item. So again, connecting, have that book close by, so it's in hand's reach, connecting the 6 bones to the mat. We're going back to this lovely pose, but now we're going to bicycle the legs a bit. But you're going to take your book with you first. So big inhale, exhale, pass it through. Pass it through. So you're making little figure 8s with your book. Core is engaged. Russo is engaged. Two more. All right, coming back to center. We need the book one more time for another homage to Yoga with Adrienne, my favorite online video yoga lady. You're gonna keep that book. We're coming back. Okay, sorry, Ruby, you gotta move off that a little bit, dude. Okay, so you're coming back into your boat pose. Bring your book up, show it to the people. And now, if you've seen The Lion King, think Mufasa holding Simba up, okay? Inhale, show Simba to the people on the right. On the left. Right. Left. And one more each side. Okay. Show Simba once more out to the center. Put Simba down, and then your own self, you can come down. And I mean all the way down. Hug the knees into the chest. Rock back and forth. Giving the massage to the back. Giving the back a massage. All right, plunk those feet on the mat and walk your feet in, maybe just so that the tips of your fingers can graze the backs of your feet. Just a little bit of an inversion to end us off before we fully wind down. You're going to push into your feet and lower and raise rather with hips towards the ceiling. Maybe snuggling those shoulder blades under, looking straight up. Think chin to sky, chest to chin. And be careful that your knees are not like splaying out or pushing in. They are hip distance apart. And perhaps you can interlace your fingers underneath. And we're here for 2 more breaths. All right, we'll unlace those fingers if they have been. And we're going to roll ourselves down, lower ourselves down slow. Again, slower than you want to, with lots of control, one vertebrae at a time. Awesome. And just give those knees a windshield wiper. That should also feel like a nice little massage. coming back to center. You're gonna lift up and move your hips like a centimeter. Well, no, maybe an inch to the left. Awesome. And you're going to let your knees come to the right. No, let's actually cross your leg over and let both fall to the right. Yeah, that's a bit better. Now, if you've got lots of space, you can bring your arms out wide, or you can use goalpost or cactus arms, and you can look straight up. Or if you were craving a bit more and you want a bit of a stretch through the neck, look over towards your left arm. And we're starting to calm the nervous system down. Think about your shoulder blades both into the mat, so we're not coming up. You know, here's a spot where if you have that blanket close by and you want to put that blanket underneath your knees, oh, that feels really good. Here's a spot where we just want to be. We don't want to fuss too much here. Maybe avoiding any urge you have to fidget. And on the next exhale, come back to center. Unravel your legs. Bring your hips back to center. And now we're going to bring our right foot over our left. We'll come into it the proper way this time. And moving those hips a centimeter, an inch to the right. Let both of the legs drop down to the left. And you can look over towards your right outstretched hand. Again, if you want something a little more restorative, you put the blanket to support your knees on the other side. I want to thank you all for being my guinea pig, my first ever virtual yoga class. So much harder than I ever would have imagined, but it is what it is. One more exhale. Bring your legs back to center. All right, and you can bring your knees into your chest for one last little rounding of the body. If you want to take a happy baby, I know a lot of my students love happy baby. It just has such a great name, and we can all use happiness, but take your feet out, and your arms can be on the outside of your knees or on the inside, it really doesn't matter. And a happy baby needs a little gentle rock, I find, because you really do feel like your little baby. Feet are flexed. You can use your hands to bring your feet further down towards the mat, really get a nice stretch. But again, do whatever calls to you. And for the next 5 breaths, you can either roll here with me or do any other pose that you feel like you were missing out on. Maybe you want to stretch out your hamstrings a bit more, or maybe you want to go back into that twist, or anything that you feel like has been missing, do that. And then meet us here on the mat for Shavasana. So take another 30 seconds. And if this is where you want to grab your blanket, by all means do so. We're gonna get ready for a little Shavasana here. I will talk you into it, and then I want you to take as much time as you want in Shavasana. I don't have any music playing, but again, you could use right now to throw a nice, soothing, calm song on. I really recommend one I like is called Weightless by Marconi Union. It's a UK band, but it's very lulling to sleep. So if you want to put that on for Shavasana, go for it, or any song that calls to you, really. I will turn the video off because I don't think you really want to watch me lying in Shavasana, but I want you to get comfortable with your blanket, or maybe you have a rolled up blanket underneath your knees or a pillow under your head. Maybe you have your music playing. And just let your feet flail out to the side. Maybe your palms are facing up, snuggling those shoulder blades underneath. whole body sink into the mat. And this is a time where you don't need to boss around your breath. Just let it come and be natural. Feel free to follow it on its journey, but try not to control it. I'm going to end the video now, but feel free to stay in Shavasana for as long as calls to you. I recommend 10 minutes. And once again, thank you for being participants in my very goofy very first video. Thank you, and see you next week.